everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. So today in this video, we'll be solving this question called set matrix zeros, which is a medium level problem on LeetCode. And as per LeetCode's company-wise problems, this problem has been asked a lot by Microsoft in their coding interview rounds. So if you're liking these kind of videos and if they are helpful, then please do consider subscribing to this channel so that it reaches more people. And let's quickly move on to the explanation of the problem as well as the coding part. Okay, so the problem states that we are given a matrix m cross n sized. If an element in the matrix is 0, we have to set all the elements in that particular row and column to 0. So pretty straightforward. The follow-up says that using mn space is a bad idea and improvement can be using m plus n space, which we will discuss how. And then this is still not the best solution. So the best solution can be done in constant space, which also we'll discuss after that. So for example, for some sample test case, this cell is 0. So we have changed all elements in this row and this column as 0. Then again for this one, this is 0. So all these elements in first column are changed to 0. And for the last column as well, all elements are 0. So the question is pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the explanation part and then we'll write the code. Alright, so let's quickly move to the explanation part now. So here I've taken this as the input matrix, and for this is the required conversion which changes it to the output matrix. So you can clearly see that there's a 0 here at this cell. So we have made this entire column and this row as 0. Then for this 0, we have made this column as well as this row as 0. So this is the entire output matrix that we want. And since it has also been mentioned in the question that we need to do this in place, so we cannot create an extra matrix, we need to make changes in this input matrix itself. So one easy approach is to basically iterate over all the elements of the input matrix, sort of in a brute force fashion. And whenever you find a 0, so you iterate over that entire row and that entire column and keep on changing every element in that row and column to some other element, not to 0, because if you change it to 0, then in future you might encounter some other zeros as well, for which the answer may have been disturbed already. So you change it to some other value, let's say you change it to a negative number or something, and then once you're done with this, you iterate over all the elements, whichever ones are the negative, you can simply change it back to 0 and you're done. So that brute force method is going to take around, the time complexity for that will be n cross m for basically iterating over all elements, and then you iterate over the individual row and column as well, for which you need to change the value, so n plus m as well. So this is going to be the overall time, and space is going to be constant because again we are not using any extra containers, so space is going to be constant. So now for the better approach, what we'll do is, instead of iterating over all rows and columns for the cells which are 0, we will store the information about the cells which are 0 in some extra array or containers. So basically I have two arrays, so one will represent for all columns and the other for all rows. So let's say this represents the values for all my columns. So this is for this column, then this column and these two columns, and this array represents information for my rows. So what I mean by that is, if I find a 0, for example this 0, so I know that this 0 is in my fourth column and my first row, so I'll make my fourth column as true and my first row as true. And similarly for this 0, I'll make this column as true and this row is already true, and then for all other columns and rows they will be false by default. And what this means is we have just used two more arrays and we know every information that we wanted. So finally I'll basically iterate over all the elements once again, and for every index, for example for this particular index, all I need to do is check for this column and this row. So if any of this is marked as true, I can simply change this to a 0. That's all we need to do. And for this one, the time will be big O of n cross m. Why? Because we are again iterating over all the elements and there are n cross m elements in all. But then here we don't have to iterate over the individual rows and columns for a particular cell. So that is how we save on the time. And for the space, for this one, it's not going to be constant because we use this array and this array. So it's going to be big O of n for basically the first array, and then big O of m for the second array that we have created. So this is the better optimization over the first approach. However, the most optimized approach does not include any extra space and takes n cross n time to do that. So let's talk about that, which is what we are going to implement finally. So in that one, it is somewhat similar to the approach that we just discussed, but the only changes are we don't use those extra arrays that we used in the earlier one. So instead of that, we actually use the first row as the first array that we have created and the first column as the second array that we created. So we are actually using the space inside our original matrix itself as our containers which are going to store the information. So that is how we are doing this in constant space. So how do we store the information? So basically my ith column of first row, so basically ith column of this first row of the matrix, this will indicate whether I have to change the ith column of any cell of the matrix to 0. So for example, this particular cell is going to store the information of whether I have to store this entire column as 0 or not. Similarly, this cell is going to store the information for this particular column. And similarly, let's say this one is going to store the information of whether I have to store this row as 0 or not. And similarly, this one for this entire row. And this is how we are using our original matrix itself as an extra container to store this information. So basically here I can also write something like the jth row of the first column is going to store the information of whether I have to store that entire jth row as 0 or not in my matrix. And this is how we are storing the information. But if you have been following this correctly, then you must be wondering, how do we store this particular cell's information? For example, this cell will be representing this row as well as this column, and we cannot use one value to do both the things. So what we do for that is we let this represent only one thing, for example either the column or the row. So in my implementation, how I'll do it is I'll make this cell represent this entire column, and the information for this row I'll be storing in another variable, let's say first row or something. So that is going to store information, is going to be a boolean, and it will store like true or false, whether I have to change this row as 0 or not. And storing a variable is again constant space only, so we are still doing it in constant space. So let me dry run for this particular test case to explain this further so that you better understand it. So first we have this variable first row. This is going to indicate whether I have to change the first row elements as 0 or not, and we initialize this with false. This is going to be a boolean, and then we iterate over the entire matrix first rows and then every column for that row. So whenever we find 0, we need to store some information. For example, for this cell we first find 0, and we see that this cell is in the first row. So since this is in the first row, we'll make this value to true, which means we will have to change elements for the first row as 0. This is how we store this information. And also since this cell is in the first column as well, so we'll change this value to 0 as well, but it's already 0, so we don't have to make any changes. Then we move on for other elements, and then the next 0 that we find is this one. So for this, again the row is the first one, so we change it to true. It's already true. And then this is in this particular column, so we'll change this value to 0 as well, and it's already 0. So that's pretty much it, because there are no other zeros, so we don't have to make any other changes. Now what we'll do is we'll iterate over the matrix again, but from the bottom right to the top left. And the reason we're doing this is because we will keep on changing elements to 0 based on values for this particular column and this particular row. And to make sure that we don't overwrite some values so that our idea changes, we need to iterate from the bottom right to the top left, so that these values for the top row and the first row and the first column, these will be changed at the end, because we don't want to change these values first itself. Otherwise, because these contain our logic, right? Our logic to change the other values. So if we start from the top and we change these values in the beginning itself, then our logic will be destroyed of how to change the remaining values for like this particular part. And that is why we are iterating from the bottom right to the top left. So for example, we start iterating from here, and we see that this value, for this particular value, the cell and column that it is currently lying at is represented by this value and this value. So if either of these two are 0, we'll change it to 0. And because this is 0, so we can change this value to 0. Again, for this value, since this and this, none of them are 0, so we don't have to change it. Then for this one, again, neither this is 0 nor this is 0, so we don't have to change it. Now we come to this value. So for this, we will check itself and the value for this particular column, which is this value. So if any of them is 0, since we clearly see that this is 0, so we will have to change it to 0. And now we come to this value. So for this, we'll check this particular value and this value, since this is 0, so we will have to change this to 0. Then for 5, we will check this value and this value, none of them are 0, so we won't change it. For 4, again we'll check this one, and 3, none of them are 0, so we won't change it. For 3, we will check this particular value, since the column that it is lying in is 0, so we will have to change 3 to 0. And then for 0, it's already 0, won't have to make any changes. For 2, now 2 is lying in the first row, so since it's in the first row, we will have to check this variable which is representing the logic for our first row. So since this variable is true, we will have to change 2 to 0, so we'll change it to 0. Then for 1, again it's lying in the first row, which is true, so we'll change it to 0. And then for 0, it's already 0, so we won't have to make any changes. So finally, this is the output matrix that we get, and you can clearly see that this is similar to the one that was required. 0 and then first column, last column, all are 0. So we have in place changed it to the required matrix. And for this one, as we have already discussed, the optimal time and space. So time will be, we are iterating over all elements, so there are n cross m total elements. So that's the time. And space, we are using that matrix itself to store the information, so space will be constant. And this is the best time and space that you can have for this particular question. So I hope you've understood it. I'll try to explain it even further while I'm coding, so that you better understand the logic of how we are storing information. So let's quickly move on to the coding part. All right, so let's move to the coding part now. And if you didn't understand the logic, I hope you understand it better while I'm writing the code. So we are given this function which accepts a matrix 2D vector, and we don't need to return anything. We just need to make changes inside that matrix in place. So what we'll do is, first of all, we'll simply store the number of rows and columns. So I'll have rows as the size of the matrix, and I'll have the columns as the size of the first column of the matrix, first row of the matrix. And once we're done with this, and also we need a variable for this, for storing the logic for the first row, whether we need to change those elements to 0 or not, as we discussed. So let's create a boolean variable which we'll call first row has zeros, let's call it that. And we will initialize this with false, because currently we are assuming that we don't have to change those values, and we'll make it true if we have to. So now let's simply iterate over all the values of the first column and first row. So for all my rows and for all my columns in that row. So now what we'll do is, I'll check if this current element is a 0 or not. So if my current element is a 0 at this cell, if this is a 0, then I need to check if this is in my first row or not. Because if this is in my first row, that is if my current row is 0, then I will have to change the value for this particular variable, right? So if this is in my first row, then I will mark this as true, which means there is a 0 somewhere in my first row. So I will need to change all elements of my first row as 0. This is all that this information gives. Otherwise, if this is not the first row, then whichever row this is, for example, let's say for this particular 0, this is in my second row. So I will change this element, that is first column, second element to 0 to indicate that I have to change elements for this row. So if this is the ith row, so I will change the ith row's first column to 0, and this will indicate that I have to change elements for this particular row. And now this part was the logic for the rows, because we needed an extra variable to check the logic for the first row. But for the columns, all our elements of the first row are representing the logic for the columns. So we can directly change the value at the first row's jth column to 0. So for any element in the matrix that is 0, I am checking if I have to change values for the first column, and then I have to change the values for the first row. So doing this, we have actually stored information which will tell us how to change values for the remaining elements. So once we're done with storing the information, all we need to do is iterate over the matrix from the bottom right to the top left cell. So for all my rows, so I'll iterate from the end till the beginning, and then for all the columns as well. So for all the values in a reverse fashion, if my current value, for my current value, I'll check whether I have to change this to 0 or not. So if this cell lies in the first row, then we know that our logic is going to be decided by this variable only. So if I'm at my first row and I know that I have to change the values for first row elements to 0, so I'll simply change this current value to 0. So matrix ij becomes 0. Otherwise, if I'm not in the first row, so for all the elements which are not in the first row, my logic is going to be decided by the value of first row elements and first column elements. So I can simply check if matrix I0, which is for the rows, if this is 0, or otherwise matrix 0j, which is for the columns, if this is 0. If any of these are 0, then I know that I have to change value for this current cell as well. So matrix ij in this case also will become 0. And I think this will change all the values. So let's go over this once again. So we have for any cell which is 0, if this is in the first row, we make this variable as true. Otherwise, for all other rows, we store the information, and for columns, we store the information here. Then we iterate from the bottom right to top left. If this is in the current first row, and I know that I have to change first row elements, so I change it. Otherwise, for all elements not in my first row, I'll check the row and column values and I'll change it accordingly. So let's run this code to see if this works. And it's working for sample test cases. Let's submit this. And yeah, this is getting accepted, and this is the most optimized solution that you can have for this question. So if you like the video and you want to support the channel, please subscribe and share it with your friends who are preparing for interviews for tech companies. And if you have any suggestions or any doubts, do comment them below and I'll make sure I go through every comment. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with the next question.